let's go to World 6. Hey, Olympians, it is Sister Kraken. Hopefully you're having a great day. I'm having a great day. We're back today in World 0 with our final installment, at least for this section, of basically my noob to pro guide, redoing all of the worlds, showing waypoints, strats, for all the different levels. So we're going to be going into World 6 today. So let's do that normal video intro stuff and we'll get right on into it. If you haven't already, please make sure you smash the lovely like button and do the same thing with the subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. And our beautiful play of the day is Amplified. Thank you for the love and support. I greatly appreciate it. So, in between episodes, I have hit level 71. I have some nice blue gear. Nothing like too super special. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go on up here to our lovely little teleporter. And I'm going to go to World 6. So nice to have this unlocked. There's a lot of quests in this zone. So we're getting a lot of XP. So this is going to be super nice. But the main thing we're going to be wanting to be doing is Tower 2. I know that's kind of the big thing everyone wants. So what I am going to let y'all know is there actually is a lot of what we're looking for in Tower 2. Now, normally I start off this by saying, oh yeah, this is the level thing. Well, you can come in here when you're level 70. So there's kind of really no reason to stay in the other zone. And you can do the Atlantis Tower starting at level 70. So I'm going to see if me and David are able to at least get a group together to do maybe the first little starting bit of the tower. Because looking at a lot of these rewards, sea serpents is in the tower, electric crabs are in the tower, jellyfish slime, parrots. Yeah, there's several of these that are already in the tower that basically we just need to get in there. Sea serpents, electric crabs, all that stuff is in the tower. So I'm going to see if me and David can wait for a group and we'll see if we can at least get in and go and do one. So, and I'll give you all some tips and tricks that where to find the other stuff. So while we are waiting, we're actually going to be fighting one of the mini bosses. So spawn is just right on over there. So I do believe we're at the lava shark. Yeah, I think this is the lava shark. Let me make sure. Yeah, lava shark. So this is the lava shark location. Really good spot. We're going to get some XP from completing the mini quest. But, I mean, it's not too bad, especially when you have a big old group of people. This area I have noticed is a little bit laggy. Just a little bit. But it'll be alright. So we're actually doing another one of the mini bosses. Is if you notice over there, that's spawn. So if you go right outside of spawn, this is the Whirlpool Scorpion. Pretty easy to do, but can be very underestimated if it comes to it. But yeah, I already got better armor and a better sword. So before we even got into the dungeon, we're gonna have this. So yeah. So you know that moment in that Elementalist video when I said that, you know, this was a really good group and it meant I wasn't gonna have a good run otherwise? So I actually tried to record a tower run for my alt account 4 different times. And they all ended horribly. So I'm going to try on my main account where I can kind of handle things on my own a little bit better. And we're going to run a tower. A tower 2. So this part of the video is not done in sequence and is going to be done with my main account because unfortunately there are times you're not going to get a good tower. And I had a lot of times people were leaving, or they were AFK, or we had level 95s leeching, which is sad to say, but it does happen. So I'm going to go through all the bosses with y'all. Just kind of a heads up. All of your world quests, minus the spirit horses, you can find all of the mobs in this dungeon, so just keep that in mind. So I will let y'all know that one of my lovely plebs let me know that you can solo this. So I will be testing that theory in the coming days. I got a lot of World 0 videos I want to put on out, so there's going to be a lot of more content coming out, especially for late game. So, but basically the basis of the towers is every floor you now just have to kill a set number of mobs before the door will open. There's going to be elites that have chests, like the one that I am stumbling across now. They have a chance to drop tier 3 class tickets, an egg, or food. More often than not, you're going to get a lot of food, and I just got even more food than I already needed. So the mobs are going to progress to be harder and harder, much like it was in Tower 1. So the only really thing to note is make sure you just check in your nooks and crannies. And if you do not have a mount yet, if you haven't gotten that Boarwolf mount, I would recommend just running as much as you can and trying to stay ahead of the pack. Because if all of them have mounts, like this group I'm in right now has mounts, you are more than likely going to get left behind. So hopefully this is a good run. I'm a little tired of recording this, and I'm still trying to recover at the moment, so let's give this a go. Alrighty, so we're at first boss fight, and we are at Keeper of the Deep. So all the bosses are going to have an AoE circle attack that causes a whirlpool. So this is just something to watch out for all of the bosses. Keeper of the Deep, honestly, other than this whirlpool that they summon, which we did lose someone to that, that's kind of the only problem child that this one has. There's not any too big special abilities at the Keeper of the Deep, so should be relatively easy. Normally don't see people die on this one, so I'm a little curious as to what happened. Maybe a disconnect. So, but I'll bring y'all back when we get to the next one. Alright, so we're on to our next boss fight. And we're now at Mama Megalodon. So Mama Megalodon's kind of like Keeper of the Deep. It's not really something too big to worry about. Again, if you're Demon, this is really easy. If you're Spirit Archer, this is really easy. Melee classes are the ones I see having the most problems. So, honestly, if you can keep range to any of these bosses, you're going to be okay. If you do see that blue circle, guys, that is the Cyclone, because Mama Megalodon can also... Not Mama Megalodon. Mama Megalodon can also spawn those as well. I don't know why I called it Megalodon. But yeah. And down. So also be careful, because their Cyclones can spawn after they're dead. And they still can affect you, so just be careful. So, yeah, we're going to go to the next one. Alright, and now we're on to the King Crab. So the King Crab, like the others, can be a little bit tricky. So he's kind of probably the first one I would have to say is kind of tricky, mostly because he can launch a ton of like projectiles in the air. So again, this is just a watch the circle game. And we're now on Mermaid. So one more thing I wanted to bring up is, if you haven't been noticing, I've only been getting level 90 gear. In order to get level 95, you do have to go to World 7, which I'm not going to be making a guide on until the towers are released. So with Siren, if you can actually keep her moving, it will prevent her from doing her most devastating attack. So when you see this big blue circle, either get out of the ring or jump onto one of the platforms. When you jump onto one of the platforms, what this allows you to do is avoid her big devastating attack and not take any damage. But if you have someone smart enough to wiggle her around the room, she actually won't stop to do that. So if you say are an aggro class, ooh, do you like me? You do like, nope, you don't like me anymore. So as long as you can keep her moving, she won't do that attack and wipe out your team. She also has a bubble attack that can kind of be a little bit of annoying. So again, close range fighters, this is not a good dungeon for you. I'm just letting you know. So there's the bubble attack. So all you gotta do is just kind of stay out of the way of the bubbles. And we are on to the Kraken. So with the Kraken, it's going to have two stages. The first stage is actually significantly easier. So basically all it's going to be is the Kraken's arms are going to come down and you have to do damage. So things to watch out for is there will be purple circles like the one I am now standing in. This is poison. So you need to try and stay out of this as much as possible, because it will do a massive amount of damage over time. And we already lost somebody. So yeah, this is, again, we lost 2 people just because of that. So do be careful, and these can spawn up at spawn. So if you are not careful, just be very, very wary of that. Sometimes the arms will be a little glitchy. Like we currently have one arm that is now in, not really sure where it's at. You also may have a situation like I have right now, where I have multiple arms right on top of each other. So this is actually really good for damage dealers. What you can do is, if you do have something that just does kind of an AoE, is you can kind of hit it down, lay it down ahead of time, especially if you don't need a target for the attack. So keep in mind which one of your abilities requires a target and which one does not, because it'll actually be really nice. And I don't know why the Kraken is bugging me out of the map, so be careful. If you get thrown out of bounds, you do get respawned. If you get thrown into the pool where the Kraken is, you will die. So just keep that in mind. I would recommend also staying away from your fellow compatriots, because they can get you killed, unfortunately. Especially if you're not paying attention. This actually used to be a lot harder. The walls actually used to, or the floor actually used to go down, and it does not do that anymore, and no matter what phase you're in. So if this is your first time doing this dungeon, I would recommend using a healing pet. I always use a healing pet for this reason. So I'll bring it back when we're onto the second stage, because this is just doing damage and waiting for the Kraken arms to fall. Sometimes you can kind of get them all nice and grouped up together, and it's a little bit easier to do damage to them, because they'll all kind of fall in one line. So the second stage has begun, and as you can see, all of the arms are back. But the big difference in these arms is that they are actually elites, and you are now required to charge the cannon. So the cannon charge actually used to be a lot worse. You used to have a lot less time. They have improved that. So you still can get poisoned, and the arms are still going to be attacking you while you're trying to charge. So what I would recommend is have someone whose designated job is, once you charge all the cannons, there's a little circle that appears on the other side of the map. Their job needs to be to just charge the cannons. That is their sole job. So I would recommend having someone over there just to charge the cannon, or just to hit the little circle once you have the cannon charged. So as long as you're paying attention, I would recommend staying away from other people, because the more arms that are coming down around you, the more chaotic it can get. Although it is easier to take down the arms in a group. As you can see, I'm getting stuck on things that aren't there because of the lag. So just keep that in mind. And I mean, you can still do damage while you're on these things charging, so. But we got a good group of people working together, so this is going pretty quick. We're going to start seeing more and more arms falling. So it should be pretty easy. Generally, I think it's like 45 seconds now, 40 seconds to charge. So it's a massive improvement over what it used to be. It used to be so much shorter, and it was kind of ridiculous how short it was. The only other thing with the Kraken arms is just be aware that sometimes they're not going to stay down as long. And to work with your teammates. Like, we have a lot of cannons to charge right now, so you need to be working with your team, trying to get all these charged. So don't be sitting there attacking the Kraken arms when you need to actually just be charging. Also, once we finish this, once the Kraken is dead, you can still get prompted to charge, so keep that in mind. So about 30 minutes is how long it takes, so not too bad, not too bad. I didn't get anything good, it looks like. Nah, I got a bunch of blues and purples. So we're gonna head on back to Noob account, and thank you, lovely plebs who helped. I actually don't even know if they know who I am, so. But since there's no waypoints, the only other real thing I have to show you is the locations of some of the mobs. So we have serpents right there. The electric crabs are very shortly after. If you go to the left, just out of spawn, the toucans, the parrots are right on in here. So they're kind of not wanting to spawn in right now because I'm loading the zone. But yeah, the parrots are over here in this cubby hole. We already talked about the lava shark. And if you continue around the back, There is the slimes back here, so if you're needing to complete those. And if you continue to follow this path from the slimes, I'm going to show you all where the horses are, the cursed horses that you will need, and they actually will just be right on that. So from here, basically back where the slimes are, all along this area and here, you will find the lovely horses. So, and guys, just remember, even if your first run doesn't go the best, you always can come back and try again. So I probably will go try the tower a few more times on my own. So thank you guys for making it to this part of the video. I greatly appreciate it. Sorry we didn't have a successful tower run. I really am sorry. Hopefully this was helpful, and I will see y'all next time. Bye! Before we go, guys, I want to give a big shout out to my lovely knights of the YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate all y'all's support. Y'all are amazing. And a big shout out to my Emerald Knights. Thank you so much for the love and support. See y'all next time.